Hey Internet, I'm Chris, and this is the place on the internet where I talk about comics, movies, games, and things I'm generally passionate about. So if you couldn't tell from my t-shirt or the statue behind me, I'm really passionate about Dick Grayson and Robin. Since I was a kid, I've loved that character, and it seems like James Gunn has heard that with DC Studios announcing that they're working on a project called Dynamic Duo. The film will follow Jason Todd and Dick Grayson as two orphan thieves, making a name for themselves as they call themselves a dynamic duo. Now, this film will be animated, and it won't be canon to the Penguin or Matt Reeves' Batman universe. But what I find interesting is that in the announcement from James Gunn and also some of the trade reports from Deadline, there's no mention of Batman. And also, hey, if these are two orphan thieves, do they just become Robin on their own? Will they have a Batman to their Robin? We'll find out. Or hey, maybe they're a dynamic duo. The film will be written by Matthew Aldridge, who wrote Coco, which is probably one of the best animated films of the last 5-10 years. And then you also have Swaybox, which is an animation studio out of New Orleans that focuses on a unique style of animation that blends stop motion with CG and live action animation, which will be really cool because I think what has really done well in the past few years, particularly if you look at something like Spider-Verse, is exploring new forms of animation. And for something like DC to really, put their name on it when it comes to their first, well, DC Studios' first green lit animation project, I think it's something that's going to be really unique. It's a theatrical project. We know DC Studios is coming out with Creature Commandos, but that is a streaming title and more geared towards adults. This, it seems, will probably be geared towards kids and is something I think myself, the whole family could love. And while we're on the topic, I think what is interesting about DC Studios and what James Gunn is doing, and he's had a couple collaborations with Matt Reeves where we've seen Cape Crusader, the Penguin coming out. Obviously, he has his Batman trilogy or Batman saga that is still coming out. Is that James looks like he is putting together a slate of films that are really unique and different flavors. And I think that is the perfect way to combat superhero fatigue as Marvel has fallen off a bit and sort of the death of the superhero movie has been written about countless times, talked about on the internet by people like myself. It is cool to see James being active in terms of seeking out different types of stories and, using DC's history of multiverses to be like, you know what, this does not have to fit any binary linear story that we're telling. If I hear a good pitch and there's something that we can do that can really bring these characters to audiences and make them lifelong fans, like I was when I was a kid, when I had Batman the Animated Series, Superman, all these projects that were just good. I didn't care about like them connecting or anything like that. He's taking that and saying like, okay, what do I want to see? And that's really cool because I think Marvel, since they've been acquired by Disney, has played it really safe, rightfully so. It's the most successful franchise in history. So it doesn't allow them to sort of like really do things like they should, like Blade should be a very simple project. Hey, just make a badass vampire movie. But because they have to find a place for Blade to exist in this large universe where you have to explain, hey, this is where vampires are while Thanos is doing this. It just makes it really hard to do things like that. And now a lot of people, including myself, were upset when we heard that there was a Batman Beyond pitch that wasn't accepted for an animated project. But now that I know this dynamic duo movie is coming out, I am more than happy with this, and I'll shut up, and James Gunn will never hear me criticize him ever again. Maybe sometimes. Who knows? But yeah, I think this is exciting because I know also Matt Reeves has gotten a lot of crap about, and the Batman world is amazing. His crime saga, both the film and the Penguin, are amazing. But because that world is so grounded, it doesn't leave a lot of room for things like this kind of story where, look, it is going to be CG, stop motion, and a really unique animation style that definitely does not fit the world of the Batman. And I've seen some reels of what Swaybox does, and I'm really excited to see the world of Gotham in that. But Matt Reeves, as I've said, because it's so grounded, people are like, hey, like, what about my piece of Gotham? I think when you have a character like, or the world of the Batman, so many people have an idea of what that is. And there's so many different iterations on it. So, in terms of live action and film, it's been dominated by really grounded stories. That's what the Nolan movies are. That's what the Batman is. So to see something like this that gives us a little bit of the fantastical, some of the elements of the Batman world that have nothing to do with him being a detective or something that could happen in the real world. James Gunn in the DCU's full steam ahead. We heard about the Bane and Deathstroke movie kind of coming along. I do wonder if this is actually set in the DCU. Um, with the DCU, James Gunn is casting actors that could play these characters across mediums: film, TV, animation, video games. And we're going to see that with Creature Commandos, where we see Frank Grillo going from animation to live action in Superman, and then Peacemaker season 2. Interesting to see because it was very vague about like whether this is Batman. Will it be set in the world of the Brave and the Bold, which has been quiet in a lot. We haven't heard much since Andy Muschietti signed on, which is interesting. But James has said he is not greenlighting anything until he has a great script, a great director. So with this, Sway Box's Arthur Mintz is going to direct. Hopefully we get this in the next couple of years, and we're probably closer to this than we are to a Batman Brave and the Bold film. And it'll be a great way to set the stage for that movie if we ever get to see it. Now, what do you think? I'm hype. As you can see, I can't wait to see Dick Grayson and Jason Todd share the screen for the first time. Well, they shared the silver screen in the Titan series, but that's different. I'm excited to see this, and share this with my family and have a good time. And hopefully this is a great film. What do you guys think? Let me know. Peace.